Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Saving Arcana! Thank you to my players for being gracious enough to participate in this absolute silliness. If you guys don't know who we are a real play D&D group that started as a podcast in 2018. As you can see, we are way much more than that now. That didn't make sense, but whatever. We now do our episodes live on Twitch, and you can watch us fail live, but we're also in virtual reality. As you can see the characters and the way we actually look and the things that we do, so it's a bit of a fun. We just really enjoy being raw, silly, and downright ridiculous, and that's the way that's what we pride ourselves in, to be honest. I mean, we are as raw as we can possibly get. I cannot thank you guys enough for listening, watching, being a part of chat, being a part of Twitch, giving us subs, all the stuff that you guys do to support us. But thank you so much from the bottom of our heart, because it does mean the world to us. Word of mouth is the only way we're going to continue to grow, so if you enjoy what you're watching and enjoying the show, please tell your friends so that they can come watch us and be a part of social media and things of that nature. Just so you guys know, again, this is Season 2. If you want to watch any of the previous episodes or catch up to what has happened up to this point, go to our YouTube. Go listen to us on any podcast aggregator. We are literally everywhere. You can listen to us on our website if you want. You can watch the videos on our YouTube. We have other videos as well, more content, including our community nights, which will be happening every Tuesday from now on. So definitely come check us out. There's just so much stuff to just talk about. There's our social, if you want to know when we go live, because we have lives and things change. And, if we're running an hour late or whatever, come check us out. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, we got it all. To be honest, we're just happy to be here. We're happy to enjoy a story together as well as sharing it with you. So, these bi-weekly shows are just amazing. They're exciting for me, and they're exciting for my players, and they're exciting, hopefully, for you guys to watch. But come check us out on any of our socials. We're going to be doing a new giveaway here soon. Our last giveaway just ended, which was really phenomenal. So, without further ado, it's the saying that we've said every time, boys. This story that we are playing through is as much your story as it is ours. So let's buckle in, grab those snackarooskies, shake out the nerves. Today's going to be crazy. I'm a little nervous. Prepare thy dice. Let's get silly with another episode of Saving Arcana.
Yay.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, let's go around the table and do some quick introductions. Balrog, start us.
What is up, adventurers? Nick here, playing Balrog, level 9, Dragonborn, Paladin. Balrog is very excited to be where he is right now in the dungeon. He's feeling pretty good. He's a healthy boy. He is certainly ready to help out the rest of the group and excited to see where the day goes.
Stevie.
Hey guys, it's me, Steve. I just love we have to get me out of the middle. I need to go first or something. That gets everybody hyped up, and then I just completely destroy it. I play Steve, the sad former tax accountant. Steve is not loving what is happening right now. But he's gonna do his best to get through it.
Love it. Brucey.
Hello, everyone. This is Dustin. I play Bruce Rockbar. He is a level 9 barbarian. Bruce is hurting right now. He took a lot of damage getting through the dungeon. He's less than half of his health. Way less. So he's hoping we don't run into any fights today. But if it happens, it happens. But Bruce is ready to go no matter what.
Love it. Love it. And I'm your DM, John, a.k.a. King Dingling. We are Saving Arcana, and we have been here for a while, and we will continue to be here, bringing you guys some unique stories and some silliness. So thank you for coming along the journey. I appreciate all of you very much. I'm going to go ahead and pause this music, and we're going to do a recap. Okay. Last time on Saving Arcana, this is what went down. The group has been running through a very large dungeon called the Museum of Sin. And in this dungeon, they've come across a lot of artifacts and puzzles. One of those puzzles was a mirror that Balrog found in a bedroom. There was a room of phallus objects that created a panda array on the back of Balrog. They went across a few more interesting puzzly rooms. They came across a dark room where the sound of chewing and sucking this darkness and a wind, they were able to get through. Even though it sounded very confusing, they did in the best way possible. They faced against creatures that they have never seen before, and an intern that was just creating a lovely song, and that intern gave them a direction. These two directions changed shortly after because an entire direction was erased from the pamphlet. And from the pamphlet, they realized that through the next door was their only way. They were greeted into a hallway of 12 doors, and from those 12 doors, people started coming in and out with garbs of high elves and people of money. And from one of these doors, they had a bunch of halflings be able to create a distraction to finally get in through the door, which Steve was able to swipe 3 of these key cards along with the master key card in his possession, and through a wonderful set of checks, they were able to play their way into the club. The Club of Sin starts them with a large amount of information, which arranged from a stairwell to the right, which went up to the VIP area where Aaron is, and off to the left there was a bar with a bartender who slipped Steve a note that said help. There is a pillar in the middle of the dance floor, around 200 people dancing who look very exhausted, and on top of that pillar is DJ K. Leto, which is a creature with all these eye stalks shooting laser beams and burning up in the sky, creating these sweet, sweet beats, along with writing a message in the top of the ceiling. They worked their way through the crowd. A few different things happened, like Brucey talking to a female, which ended horribly. They had some conversations with the bartender. Steve threw a glass, one of the glasses with the devil's kiss, up at the DJ, which crashed on his eye socket, and the eye socket acted very differently. And then as all of these things were coming to a head, Erin stood up, banged her staff on the ground, and said the fateful words, "Let's show them the pit." So that is what happened last time. And that is exactly where we are going to start today. Let me set the tone. The pit is, remind you that you guys are essentially in the center of the dance club, all right? Steve, you're in the crowd of all the dancers. Balrog and Bruce, you're about 20 feet behind him. But when Erin spoke, she spoke out across the crowd, and every person immediately stopped what they were doing, looked up, and stopped and only stared at her with a blank stare when she spoke out to the crowd, which I can only consider they would be quite creepy. So you're standing now and within free movement, and these people are just completely blank of face and are just listening to what she is saying. She is 20 feet off the ground on a overhang with a railing, and she's at the railing. So when she talks about this pit, the 20 feet below her in a 10-foot circle, the ground begins to mold. The stone begins to mold into a perfect circle, which is showing a pit down, which is in reference to the pit. She hits her staff down one more time, and everybody begins to go back with the playing. The music begins right away, and people are dancing, and all of the club just begins again. I'm going to give you guys a quick second. Is there anything you guys want to do before I start heading forward?
I'm standing next to Balrog still, right?
Yeah, you're pretty close to him. Absolutely.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, the only person is Steve, and he's about 10, 15 feet in front of you, but he's in the crowd right as he's thrown up the piece of glass, and that's where he stayed.
Okay.
Anybody want to do anything before I move forward?
I don't think so.
Okay. Here we go, boys.
Yeah.
Aaron, this demon-like skin, dark and charred, with this leathery outfit. Leathery? That'll work. Leather-like outfit with a harness up front and a small leathery black skirt with these darkened but reddish-veined wings tucked closely to her body. She has 2 forward-facing horns and her lips of bright red. Whenever she speaks, you can almost see a flame lick across her eyes. Erin leans back into her chair and takes a pose almost of more of a slump in the chair and says, I would like a few more grapes. And the boy that was standing next to her takes some grapes out of a bucket and begins to feed her as she leans her head back over the armrest and lazily is being fed these grapes. Dustin, I need you to give me a history check.
Okay. History. 12.
Okay, as perfect amount as 12 was the DC. You remember a couple episodes ago when a boy stole your bag of holding off of your person in the streets. This is that exact same boy.
Hey, Balrog, there he is. That's your guy. That's your kid, right?
Where?
Yeah, right there, feeding Jessica the grapes.
Are you sure? That's the
Yeah.
boy?
That's the boy. That's the one that stole my bag of holding. Before we leave, don't let me forget to get that in.
All right, Bruce.
And just for clarification, it's Aaron, not Jessica.
Aaron, sorry, my bad. I don't know where I pulled Jessica from.
I heard Jessica and I was like, again,
Wait a minute.
not the
Aaron,
name,
my
but
bad.
there it
My
is.
bad.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
There it is.
There it is.
I was curious, but that's the one. That is the
You
one.
said it so confidently, I thought I had missed something. I was like, Jessica.
Oh, 100%.
Bruce is bad with
100%.
names.
Well,
I'm
what did I
sorry.
miss?
Last time on Saving Arcana, Jessica. Okay, all right. Aaron looks over and gives a little hand motion as people have obviously began to get back into the beat and people are dancing, and the hand motion, you hear a door open. And the door, if you are facing Aaron up on the second floor, if you're looking that direction, the door is about 40 feet to your right. It's a double door inlaid with imagery of angels and demons fighting. And this imagery is carved into wood, and it's these giant wooden doors, and they open in the center, and out comes 2 people. And if you would give me, all 3 of you, if you guys are all looking, can you all give me a perception check, please, baby?
Yes, sir.
18.
Okay, that's you get everything. Everything was
19.
18. 19, you got it? What'd you get, Steve? I heard a sigh.
Yeah, I got a 5.
Oh boy! Okay, Steve, for you don't get this information, but you will get it here in a minute, and I'll tell you when. So you, Balrog and Bruce, you both look over as the doors crack open. Everyone's still dancing and everything, but you're watching what's happening. 4 gentlemen, or very stocky-looking gentlemen. They don't exactly have to be gentlemen. These 4 tall-looking humanoid people with black draped clothing, with a black cloth over their forehead and over their face where it's completely construing any kind of bodily features among their face. These 4 people are hauling out under each arm 2 people. One is a dwarf. And if you would give me another history check, Balrog, I'll let you do the history check as well. There is a dwarf, and then there is also an elf.
Ooh, 22.
Okay, you get it?
I only got a 10.
Okay. All right. It's just going to be delayed because as soon as you see it'll. But right away, Balrog, you recognize the dwarf. Same bodily features, same hair. This is the dwarf that passed by you in the hallway with the high elf woman. Let me paint the picture real quick. This dwarf is down to his underwear, just a loincloth. The elf is as well, and the elf has cropped, wavy black hair, has brown eyes. He's got that sweet, soft, pock-marked pink skin. He's about 5'8", and he's got a skinny build. But the dwarf, he's got that half-balded head, blue eyes, smooth brown skin. Obviously, he takes care of himself. He is quite noble. He's got a very muscular build, setting around 4'6". He's got that edgy, common face with a gigantic mustache. And you see these two people walking out blindfolded with, what'd you roll, Balrog?
22 history check.
22 history. Go ahead and give me, both Balrog and Bruce, give me another perception check for this next piece of information.
16.
Okay, that's good.
14.
Okay, that's good as well. You're already looking at them, and what you notice is that, yes, they are blindfolded. They have huge grins across their faces. But more importantly, there's little swabs of cloth stuck into their ears. They're being escorted out by these 4 completely darkened, drenched in clothing bodyguards. And they bring the 2 gentlemen slowly walking closer and closer to the pit. You hear loudly, and at this point, you hear these 2 people yell, as when you have your ears plugged and you yell much louder than you should in conversation. Steve, you hear this, even though they're about 25 feet from you. You hear this loud gentleman speak. Oh boy, I've paid a lot for this. I cannot wait. I tell you what. Oh, buddy. Another voice rings out. Collie, is that you? By golly, you old pervert coot. I knew you would also pay for the package on a dime's notice when they gave it to us. I do have one rule. Just don't touch me, you little man. The dwarf yells back, "Any god, is that you? Oh, buddy. Oh, you slimy elf. Oh, they offered this to me today, and I cannot wait. You know what? I agree with what you're saying. You stay on your side, and I'll do the same. But, buddy, I cannot wait to see what happens." Any god responds, "You filthy, degenerate dwarf, you are way too excited for your own good." And at that current time, the guards pluck the swabs out of their ears as Erin makes a motion with her hand from the second level. They immediately realize they've been talking way too loud. Can Steve, you specifically, give me a perception check? I'm looking for a DC 16.
That is not going to do it. That's a 10, my friend.
Okay. Where are you looking at currently? Are you looking at them? Is that drawing your attention? Are you looking at her? Are you looking at the pit? Tell me kind of what you're doing up in the crowd as everyone's still dancing around.
Yeah, I kind of want to check out the pit. See if
Okay.
there's anything like in there or happening in there.
Sure. Yeah, you make your way up towards the pit, and as you get closer, you realize that there's 2 guards dressed as dancers who have long, almost pole-like sticks, like quarterstaffs. They are snapping their sticks against the edge of the pit's rim, making a loud crack, crack. And every time they do that, these small tentacles retract back into the hole. And every time they don't do it, they begin to pour out. 15 tentacles pouring out along the edge and trying to grasp onto the floor. And as soon as they make that crack ringing noise, those tentacles ring back inside the hole. And you hear a fateful noise. Roll me a history check. Looking for an 8 on this.
Oh, an 8?
An 8. No, you're already in this.
God, if I don't make this. Nope, that's a 6.
I don't know what to do. Okay,
I'm on a roll
you have a
here.
6. You hear the noise, but it doesn't click inside your head. You hear a...
Oh no.
Oh no.
And every time you hear the crack of the quarterstaff hit against the rim, you hear... "Ah!" And this noise doesn't ring a bell, but it does seem very fateful. You do recognize the tentacles and this general feeling. You might not remember that this was in the room, but you get this like, I've been here before. What's going on?
Yeah, so just to clarify, so in game time, like 2 hours ago, we saw what seems to be this same thing, and
Yep.
Steve is already like, well, this seems familiar. Darn if I can't place it.
Yeah, it's literally just going to be a time. So you don't recognize it from the tentacles, but as soon as you hear the sound of the sucking and the chewing, bing, 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 it goes off in your head.
Okay.
Oh my god. It's that damn creature again, the Dark Eater. All right, so it does recognize you were close enough. It's just a matter of time. It's whether or not the perception's really about whether or not you instantly get it. You didn't, but as soon as you heard the noise, ooh, it's there.
Gotcha.
As far as the group back, Balrog and Brucey, you do not know that this is going on, so I'll leave that up to Steve to disseminate accordingly. The two gentlemen are being led by these 4 guards up to what is a little bit of a plank at the edge of the pit. Do you guys
see
want
what
to
they
do
do
anything
with
at this
it?
current time?
I would like to try to see if I can get close to Steve. Like, how far away is Steve?
About 10 feet. You can easily move up to Steve.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same.
Okay, so you guys are going to get together kind of towards the edge, because he's pretty close to the edge. Not on the edge, but he's close, like within 5 feet of the edge of the pit. Do you guys all want to combine together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you go ahead and make your way through the crowd. People are beginning to, as you're making your way through the crowd and you're bumping into people and kind of moving them out of the way, because this is all shoulder to shoulder, you see people kind of like get this confused look on their face. And there is a bit of like they start doing these dance moves that they've been doing for hours and hours on end, and they start to kind of slow down and they start to look around a bit as you make your way to the pit.
Oh, Steve, are we gonna do something here? I mean, like, are these guys? Should we make our move now, or should we wait?
I don't know, Bruce. The thing in the pit is that thing from the black room.
Oh man, I don't want to deal with that again. Almost
Yeah,
died.
I'm cool with kind of just getting away from that whole scene.
What do you think, Balrog?
Well, Bruce, if it is what Steve is saying, this could potentially be a problem for group.
Should we try to see if we could sneak up to where Aaron's at?
That would be wisest decision.
I agree.
Okay, as you guys are talking and deciding that making a move through the crowd to try to get back up to the VIP where Aaron's at, reminder, the only way up to Aaron is back at the front, about 80 feet back towards the entrance, to go up the stairs, which wrap around the entire building to where she's at. It would take a while to do that. Just I want to make sure I don't have like a map up to show you guys, but
So, just so I know, so we're standing in the dance floor, a pit
Yep.
opened in the floor,
yep,
and Aaron's elevated above that pit, like
20
on
feet up.
stage?
Yep.
20 feet up.
20 feet up
20 feet.
on an overhang terrace that has a railing. And she came to the railing, started it, and then is sitting back down. She does not have eyesight with you as her chair is far enough back into the terrace.
How far apart is from where we're standing through the pit to her terrace?
So the pit is directly under. Like if you were to jump off of her terrace, you would go directly into the pit. So you guys are at the edge, and you're looking basically 20 feet up. That's where her terrace is.
Gotcha. Okay. Just curious.
Okay. No, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's good to ask those questions. So anything else? Do you guys want to do
I
anything
guess-
at this current time?
Or guys, should we just kind of wait and see what happens?
Yeah, let us see what transpires from pit.
All right.
Okay.
So as these two gentlemen get walked to the edge and the swabs get taken out of their ears and they go from yeah, you old damn cute, oh buddy, the swabs come out and they go, I do apologize. I did not mean to yell in such an quite degenerate format, and this is not my current way of doing things. And the blindfolds are still on these two gentlemen. The hill dwarf and the high elf stand almost naked in front of you, a good 10 feet, blindfolded, but with these big grins on their faces. They seem very excited about what they're expecting, what's going to happen next, almost giddy. They keep asking questions to the people who are leading them. Oh, now don't you be so mean to my arm. I don't want to have bruises. These arms are of the lovemaking, my friend. The four guards that are leading them to the pit, as I mentioned, are all dressed in black. They don't show any features. They don't have faces as the black drab is draped over their heads. They don't speak. Their hands, if you give me perception check, please, if you're looking that direction.
Oh boy.
16.
Okay. I'm looking for 14s.
You can finally get a good roll. That is a nat 1. What is happening right now?
Hey, just get them bad out now. Get the bad ones out now, and then later.
Like me.
Bruce, what did you roll?
I had a 14.
Okay, good. Okay, so Bruce and Balrog, you notice that the hands are the only thing that you can see of these four guards. They are of lizard-like knuckles, and then from the knuckles have long serrated fingernails, and the hands are larger than the bodies would assume to be. They look very out of place, and every one of them is just a different shade of green. So one has a darker shade, the next has a lighter shade, but the hands are much larger as they wrap around the arms of the two gentlemen. The hill dwarf yells out, "Oh, buddy, the money I've paid, the times that I have visited this establishment, and I got my card full up, and buddy, hey, any god, did they call you by, that owl? Did the owl come to you?" Any god kind of yells back over to him. That they sent an owl, and when I had my card filled, they gave me the option. I paid up front right away. I know how hard it is to get this. It's kind of a spot for the VIP elite package. The hill dwarf calls back. All right, hey, now, you just remember now, don't you dare touch me. You stay on your side. Erin begins to get up from her sitting position and waves the boy away with the grapes. Erin slumpily moves left and right as she slinks to the edge of the railing and puts both hands on the railing and almost leans over like a young girl would out of excitement. You see her eyes blazing with that fire, and the whisked smile kind of comes across her face. And you hear, "These two men stand before you of heinous crimes. They stand before you as men who are full of greed and corruption. They would rather keep their gifts to themselves rather than share with the world. And for this, we shall be the hammer, the nail, and," pointing down to the pit, "the coffin. My sister No and I will act as judges. And you," pointing her long, sleepily hand out towards the three of you, "Steve Redmond, Bruce Irongut, and Balrog Dengar shall be the jury." My beautiful Dark Eater will, of course, be the coffin. At this current time, right next to Aaron, a slight fissure in the space next to her cracks open about 4 feet tall. And the fissure, you see 2 beautiful, light-skinned hands come through the fissure on either side as if to rip it open, and slightly pulls the fissure open. Erin begins to walk back to her chair, which she slumps back in, and she motions for the boy to begin feeding her grapes again. During the fissure point, anything you guys want to do?
God, she knew my name. My actual name. I don't tell anybody that.
She knew all of our last names, Bruce. This is very bad.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry. My bad.
I was just gonna agree that she seems to have a lot of dirt. I don't
What do you
think
think
I like
she means by wear the jury?
I mean, we're gonna be part of a trial, I guess, Bruce.
Oh,
I do not think this is a fair trial, but this is very bad.
The fissure begins to crack open more as these golden-skinned hands pull it open, and then daintily you see 1 foot with golden pumps. The skin makes a long-legged female Azamar, almost angelic woman pull herself through the fissure, and with almost a flick of the wrist, she snaps her fingers and the fissure disappears. What stands in front of you is a 12-foot wide wingspan Azamar female with extremely long braided auburn hair with burning cyan eyes. Her skin is golden and almost reflective. She's about 5 feet 5 inches tall. She has an oval, very attractive face, regular build. She has a tattoo. If you would give me a perception check, I'm sure the 3 of you are watching as she's coming through this fissure.
22.
22, that's good.
Soft 20.
Okay.
And a 16.
16. That's all good.
Decent for once.
You cannot tell what the tattoo is, but you notice it's very out of place, and it's on her inner left arm. It's there is black, almost black ink written something. There's a form on her left inner arm, but you just can't tell from how far you guys are away. I was looking for a 24 to get what it was, so it was high.
Man.
It was high.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's such a small thing, 20 feet away. To get that, it's pretty difficult.
Can any of us even roll a 24 in perception?
Probably not.
I know I can.
Okay, so this creature comes out of this almost portal, this fissure, and she leans just like Aaron did. She leans with both of her hands on the railing and leans forward, and a smile creeps across her face. She blows a kiss towards the Dark Eater. Everyone in the club is completely silent. There's no music, there's nothing, no moving, and everyone is staring up at this angelic creature upon her perch. She giddily leans on the railing a little bit more and smiles again, and she calls to the guards to take off the blindfolds. She looks over at the 3 of you and says, "Well, hello, my wonderful travelers. My name is No. I'm so glad that you could come visit our Museum of Sin. And when my sister invites me and brings such loyal, beautiful people to be as our jury, I could not keep myself but joining the fun."
No, this has not been a very pleasant experience.
I can imagine that you've gone through quite a few of our rooms, and by you surviving this long does tell me that you are a worthy jury.
What exactly do you want us to do now? What is your jury?
I want you to... She points over towards these two gentlemen who obviously are looking very, very scared in the fact of what's going on. Callie, the dwarf, looks around and goes, hey, now, what's the purpose of this? I was expecting to be 5 to 10, 20, 25 deep with the women. What's going on here? Who are these men? And what is this pit? No puts up her finger up to her lips as if to say shush. And over his mouth begins to almost seal shut at the lips. And he goes, she says, no. It is not your time to talk. She looks over to the three of you and says, this is Callie. Callie Galdillion. Callie, you stand before us a man who has watched over 7,000 of your people die horrible, gruesome deaths due to a disease that your very blood can cure. Yet you have done nothing. You knew that your blood was the cure. Give me a perception check real quick, all three of you, looking for 18.
I'd like to play a game.
Nope, that ain't gonna work out. I got an 11.
Okay.
15.
Okay.
Oh my god. That's another nat 1.
Oh my goodness.
Jeez,
Okay.
man.
Nobody notices this. You guys are looking over at the three, the two gentlemen.
Steve's like picking his nose and staring.
Oh yeah, you're having a hard time today.
What?
She continues. Your blood is the cure, and you would need to be drained of every last drop in order to save your people. But your greed and your self-preservation, you have allowed your public to think that it is uncurable. And while you live the lavish life that you do, your people suffer and die as you sit here, a sickening man, letting them die, knowing that you could be the cure. She takes her eyes and darts over to the three of you. This is just a part of why you're here. This Callie, the coward, is what I would call a piece of shit. And next to him is a larger piece of shit. Do you guys want to say anything this time?
Burn the heretic. No, just kidding.
Oh, okay.
Well, I can't say I wouldn't disagree with you now. He sounds like a real piece of work.
She nods in agreement. And she looks over and says, next to the first piece of shit is the second. Inigad Runth LeMay. This horrible person is also known by the name the Devil's Shadow. For you, I am pretty sure your count is up to 42 murders. In cold blood, am I not correct? Iningod, as you look over at Iningod, he is but sobbing at this point. His demeanor has completely changed. From happy, giddy, I'm going to go get crazy, and I've been waiting for this, to a somber, oh crap, the gig is up. And he just kind of nods his head with his eyes closed. She says, the darkness that is inside you yet becomes alive every 14 days and slaughters whoever your thirst desires. Yet you know about this darkness, and you will not get help. Because in God, you deep down, you enjoy it. You enjoy the slaughter. You enjoy their screams of pain, and you enjoy the killing. She takes a second and almost calms herself from being worked up, from regaling their horrible bits of who they actually are. With a deep breath, she goes, "How do you both plead?" In which Callie responds, "Not guilty." Any god next to Callie drops to his knees. His sobbing continues and becomes very, very much more like weeping than sobbing, and says, Please, just make it all go away, please. This burden, I didn't ask for this. I didn't want it, but I've enjoyed it, and I don't want this anymore. And before he can finish his sentence, Callie kicks God as he is kneel before him, almost in a scoffing manner. "Get up, you worthless piece of shit! Don't degrade yourself! You're a high elf, don't you forget it! Where's your pride? Stand up like a man!" God, I deserve this! He closes his eyes, but his left eye only. Please give me a perception check, looking for a 12, as you guys are very set on looking at what's happening in front of us.
18.
Good?
That is a 21.
Sure. Yeah, you got it.
Hey, 21 crit.
Nice. Okay, because you crit on this, I'm going to need you specifically to give me an Arcana check as well as a history check. Give me the total number. I'm looking for above 30.
Just those two or me too?
Just Steve, since he crit on this.
Oh, you're not doing me?
Balrog crit on it too.
No, you said it was soft, wasn't it?
No, it was a crit.
Oh, well, 2 crits. Hell yeah. Go ahead and you do it as well. Arcana and history, looking for a total number above 30.
What the hell? Okay. That's a 43.
Wow.
Did you get a 13 and a 20, or did you just...
I got a 17 plus 5 and a 20 plus 1.
Woo! Woo! All right, yeah, you get this tidbit.
33.
Okay, you both get this tidbit.
Oh, neat.
Balrog on this... So we're going to take a sidebar for a quick second for this situation. Balrog and Steve. There's a reason differently for both of you to know this, so I'm going to have to go do this separately. Balrog, since you've been traveling as a conqueror, your religion has told of an old, darkish, blood-oriented darkness. A darkness of blood-oriented darkness. That was terrible. A blood-oriented darkness that when it infects a soul, it becomes part of the person, and they become a conduit for the darkness. The darkness takes many forms. That's what I give with the 33. This is what you see in the eye as his left eye only opens. Steve.
Yes.
The last few times that you have felt the chaotic energy on this planet of existence, the planet itself has caused such a magical rift within you, changing your rifts and changing your chaotic nature. This magical darkness has been tugging at your heartstrings, as if a nightmarish creature is just outside of your reach, almost sitting in the ethereal plane, hovering over you. This has been going on for months on end. That same feeling of this blood darkness that you've known about is tugging at your heartstrings as soon as you see his eye open. God's left eye only opens after being scolded by from Callie. And God says, I deserve this. I didn't mean to kill all the children, women, and I didn't mean to. And the eye blinks, and there's a darkness, almost a complete feathered darkness, swirling in his left eye, and his right eye is sobbing purely, as if there's two sides to him. He says, I'm so sorry, Solara. Please forgive me. I hear him calling now. And with just a second of motion, Eating God's shoulders filter forward as if he is trying to toss himself forward freely into the darkness. And as he begins this motion, give me... Nope, I'm not. I already had you roll. I'm just going to give you this bit. From Eating God's forehead to the back of his skull, you see a blackish red crack almost in his body. And out from inside of the head, two black, long, 9-inch hands immediately grab on the outside of his head and pull apart, cracking his skin as if something is ripping itself out of him. And he's falling forward, and that eye that you saw, Steve, blinks for a split second. I need you to give me a wisdom saving throw.
Of course you do. All right. Let's keep the good rolls going, please, and thank you. That is a nat 20.
Oh!
What is it with Steve and wisdom throws?
Oh man, you nailing it. Yeah. It was a pretty tough one as it was 18. All right, so I can just take this whole tidbit and throw it away. Thank goodness.
Every time.
Oh man. Okay.
I'm a caster. It's my job to ruin your plans.
Absolutely. The eye blinks as he makes a connection with your eyes and your soul, and you feel that encroaching darkness almost being sucked into your heart. And with a moment of silence and realizing the calm, you feel a warmth come over your heart as if there is two hands holding it. And you hear a familiar voice inside of your own head. And it says, "You're mine, not for him. Don't forget that." That fateful voice, as I'm sure I'm doing a horrible job, is Peach. The warmth then fades from your heart, and your eyes come back as you jolt back, seeing this body as a darkish darkness. Man, my words today. This darkness crawling out of Eating God falls with the body as he could not come out of the body in a form quick enough as Eating God thrusts himself into the pit. And you hear a and a almost bone snapping, curdling of crunching as they're snapping and crunching, and the sound of bones and flesh being ripped apart, and the gnashing of what sounds like teeth. And after that large thud, and you hear a screeching noise from a very happy Dark Eater, No just claps her hands and says, "Well, that was quite a show. I didn't even have to give him his final wish as he gave it to himself. Still, what a coward. As I told him, he would get what he honestly deserves." She looks over to the group and nods very keenly to the three of you, and then looks over at the now shaking Callie. No speaks. Oh, sorry. Callie's eyes go wide. A look of panic spreads across his face, and you begin to see his demeanor completely change from a stalwart dwarf to a beggar. You know, I can make things right. I can find a cure. You know what? Just use my blood. Use any magic, any form of magic. Just there's got to be another way. You know, I have a lot of money, lots of cores. And as she does this, she then reties his mouth, letting him speak no more. Looking over to you and then looking back to the group of all the constituents there in the club, she says, "Let's allow our guests to decide your fate. It is their first time here. Well, at least for two of them." No winks at Steve. "Although, I am guessing by the look on your face, Steve, Mr. Girth must have erased your memory. That is quite unfortunate, because the last time you visited was quite," she smiles, "eventful."
Oh, God. Steve's been violated.
Most definitely.
She looks to the three of you and motions her hand from left to right. "You three must decide this poor creature's soul and which way it shall be damned. I leave it to you." And she then turns and sits down, and you hear a voice say, "When you're ready, call for me." The music then, with a clap of her hands and a snap of Aaron's fingers, everyone goes back to dancing and just having a grand old time as if nothing happened. You guys now have the floor.
Well, what do you think, guys? I think we should maybe try to get his blood, right?
Yeah, that was kind of what I was thinking, Bruce. I mean, he should probably die, but we can use his blood to help people, so I don't know.
Do you agree,
we need like a big bucket, maybe.
A big bucket for his blood. Yeah. What are we gonna do? Slit his throat and watch it bleed out?
Well, I mean, it's not ideal, but
Steve can produce bread from magic. Can you also produce a bucket?
no, just a roll of bread, not a roll of bread and buckets.
Maybe they got some of those mesh buckets like we do back at the Red Shickle.
Oh.
You gotta clean them out first, Cole. Maybe we should go up there and talk to that guard and see if he'll let us up there now.
Well, she said we had to decide this guy's fate, though, right?
Right, but let's go up there and do it. Maybe at the same time we can try to get Sheldon back. Maybe I get back my bag of holding from the Great Boy as well. Right.
Oh, so this is what this is all about.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah. I mean,
there
we
it
need to
is.
get Sheldon, right?
We keep
Go
calling
ahead,
him the
sorry.
Great Boy.
The Great Boy. I don't know his name.
Steve, do you have any magic that can remove someone's blood from their bones?
No. No, that would be horrifying.
Also, what is this point of us being on jury if we did not decide last guy's fate?
Well,
I mean,
last
this
guy
is
decided he decided his own fate, right? I mean, he just jumped to his death. So
I mean, in fairness, that's probably what I would have decided for him. So I don't really
Right.
mind.
how many people have you killed? Well, not in cold
Only-
blood, of course.
Only bad ones, though, not kids.
Oh, yeah, that's true. We don't kill the good guys.
Jesus.
So you decide who is good and bad.
All right, let's not do this now. We've got stuff to do.
All right, sorry. I think that we should go with Bruce's plan,
Right.
and try to get Sheldon back.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
She
All right,
comes.
we like to.
No
go
comes
ahead.
to the railing. "I see you've had plenty of time to talk amongst yourselves. What shall it be? Shall we feed him to The Dark Eater, shall he survive another day? What say you, three travelers?
No. One of the people we like to use for making all of our decisions is a small gnome by name of Sheldon. Do you know where he is?
She tugs on a leash and almost raises him up next to her. I see
there
you
he
probably speak, and while he's off the ground where he would normally be choking, he's still dancing. And she goes,
God.
Do you speak of this small creature?
Yeah, that is one.
She puts
Perhaps
him
you
back
could
down.
Let him off leash, to which he might be able to help us make our decision.
What you're saying is that you're incapable of deciding this man's fate without this tiny man to help you?
We made Pinky promise long time ago that he would help us with all decision making.
Give me a deception check.
Oh boy.
17.
Oh man.
It's 18.
Ooh, wait. Hold up.
Oh, give it to me, baby.
Hold up.
Some magic.
Come in clutch here.
It technically is after the roll. You would have had to state it before to
Whoa.
use the tides, but here, read me what it says. I'm pretty sure you have to do it before.
No, this is bend luck. Another
Oh.
creature you can see makes an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw. Use your reaction.
Yeah, that's right.
All
Forbidden luck.
right,
Yeah.
so spend 2 sorcery points, roll 1d4.
All we need is a 1. You literally can't fuck this
No,
up.
it
Yep.
has
No,
to.
well,
It has to succeed. It has to go over.
We need
Can't-
a 2.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, 2, Steve.
Well, that's a 3, so.
There we go.
Yeah.
Good job. Good job.
Ooh, I
Nicholas.
am low on sorcery points.
Yeah,
oh,
I'm
boy.
surprised you're not out yet. Whew. She stands there befuddled a little bit as she looks down at this small man, and she snaps her fingers and he stops dancing, and you can see through the railing that he stops dancing. And she then takes the rope that is around his neck, the chain, lifts him back up and puts him over the railing. Now he is directly above the pit and
Oh.
says, "If you want him." And she looks back at her sister. Erin smiles creepishly and just nods. And then No looks back at the rest of you. "You'll have to catch him."
Oh shit.
Oh, God.
She releases the rope and he begins to fall. And you hear a, "Ah!"
Oh, God.
You all
Bruce.
three get an action in order to help. In the 7 seconds that this action would be, you all have a response in order to do something
Oh,
at this
no.
point in time. What would you guys like to do?
I would like to use my action to ask Steve something.
What?
No.
It's not gonna be
He's
quick enough.
mid-fall. Unless you literally, it's going to take 3 to 4 seconds for him to fall
This
directly
man
into.
is falling to your death. Just. Oh. Hang on, let me ask
I mean,
you
you
a question.
you all three get an action as long as it's within 3 seconds. Do what you guys want to do. If you want to ask him something, do it.
Steve, can you use magic hand to grab him?
No.
Okay.
No, I cannot.
Okay.
Bruce would like to take 3 steps back and run and jump to see if he can catch him.
So you want to make a vertical leap to catch
Up.
him before he goes in and kind of like tumble.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. What check is this gonna be?
I think it's have to be
for him
athletics,
catch
correct?
This
So
gnome?
for you to catch him, Bruce, you absolutely can do the movement, move a couple back, and go forward. Specifically, because you have danger close,
Mhm.
I'm going to give it to you at advantage, and I need an acrobatics check in order to lunge, grab him midair, and just tumble. Because clearing a 10-foot pit is easy, but timing it
Right.
correctly. So you go roll that, and before you tell me, Steve, what is the thing that you would like to do?
I'm sorry, I missed. What check is he rolling?
He's rolling
And
acrobatics to
Oh,
run.
acrobatics.
Acrobatics. Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
You gonna boof him up?
Luckily, one of
I'm
my
gonna
highest
use
ones.
enhance ability to cast Cat's Grace
Nice.
on both. Oh, actually, no. It's just gonna be Bruce.
Okay.
It's on touch.
And Cat's
So as
Grace
he's going
gives.
by, I just kind of high five him.
Cat's Grace gives what?
Dexterity, which is an acrobatics
Is it a bonus? Is
skill.
it advantage? What does it actually give for him?
advantage. So he's got additional advantage, I think.
Oh, shit.
Unfortunately, it won't really work like that. But what I'll give instead, since you're doing that, we'll just make it
Okay.
where it's going to give him a +3 to his roll.
Okay.
All right, so
All right.
I'm
21.
good with that.
21 is what you roll.
Yep.
Okay, I'll flavor this.
Hmm.
No,
Okay. Oh, you're gonna flavor it. I'm sorry.
no, you're good.
Yeah. I was
No,
gonna flavor it.
I will flavor it to the point and let you go from there. Cool.
Okay.
No releases his chain, and you hear that screech in Sheldon's voice as he is plummeting down. The tentacles begin to furl out of the pit a little bit, and you hear at the same point. Balrog, you yell over to Steve. Steve is already in mid-motion. Bruce takes an immediate reaction, 3 steps back, turns almost like a sprinter, and just boom, boom, boom. Goes right next to Steve. High five Steve. Go ahead.
I high five Steve on the way out, and as I Air Jordan myself, I grab a hold of the chain that was tied around Sheldon's neck, and I whip it around and throw it towards Balrog, and I would like to do kind of a kickflip off the wall to flip back into the crowd where I was at.
Okay. You're going to have to
incredible.
give me another acrobatics check in order to
Okay.
flip off the wall and not land in the pit.
In the pit. Am I still gonna get it at advantage?
No.
No.
Does he still get the plus? Yeah, he still gets the +3 though.
He does get the +3, but you do not get an advantage. I'm looking for a
Okay.
solid 15.
If I get a +3, that would give me 18, 19. That would give me a 20.
Okay.
Nice.
Jesus, man. And maybe next time when you succeed something that's really difficult, maybe not flave yourself to possibly die. You know,
Yeah, you know,
if you
whatever.
fell in the pit, that is it for Brucey. Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
God.
So you rocket past and you grab the chain, which immediately begins to choke him, and you fling him around like a barbell, and you throw him just barreling into Balrog's chest, which you have no problem catching. Then, with your motion, you jump off of not the wall, but one of the pillars holding up the second floor, and you bounce back off, flying through the air like a ninja, landing just barely on the edge of the pit, and you land. Then you hear a very well done. He is yours to have. You have won him. I need your answer soon. Sheldon, shaking in your chest, just says, "Hey, let me down, please."
Oh, all right. Sorry, Sheldon. Here you go.
Sheldon, remember, Sheldon's got a collar on. It's about a 3-foot chain. He's got this leather chest harness with a ring in the center of his chest and small chaps on.
I forgot about the chaps.
The chaps.
I don't know what's going on. I'm really, really tired. What? Can you fill me in, please?
Oh, yeah. So, we are in dungeon here. You've been dancing, and you have very peculiar clothes on. We need your help here. We are in big pickle. Perhaps you might be able to, you and Steve use some magic to help us get out of this situation, huh?
So he is going to look down at his body and see that he is wearing a harness. And at first, you see this kind of like weird smile kind of come across his chest. Always wanted to know what I'd look like in chaps. It's kind of cool, he takes his hands together and kind of just moves them in a way, and you hear him mumble a few words, and then all of a sudden, all the dirt and the spit and the nastiness that is on him begins to fade away as he casts prestidigitation on his own self and cleans his body up, and his hair becomes a nice swoop-backed haircut. He looks very clean for having a harness on at this point. All right, that's a little better. Well, why don't I tell you what I remember? I don't know what's with the dude with the blindfold standing over there. There's a pit. Can we at least get away from the pit?
Now, Sheldon, we need your help, right? So we need you to build a can we drain his blood out of his body first?
What do you mean drain his? Why are they sacrificing this dude?
Well, they're not really sacrificing him. He's kind of a butthead, right, or an asshole. But we need his blood because it cures his people, and he definitely deserves to die. But we need to help his people first.
You got a lot of weird converging lines going on here. First, I'm in chaps.
It's too much to explain.
And then, you tell me this guy over here, you need his blood. Why don't you just find a bucket? Just drain the dude with his blood and just take the bucket. Why do you need magic?
I think what Bruce is trying to say is that we don't want to take anyone's life, but we don't have choice. Is there any way, because we don't know where buckets are in said dungeon, if you might be able to use magic to just rip it from body?
Why, okay, let's take it a step back. If you need his blood, and we can't have a bucket, I think the logical form here would be to, not kill him. Why can't we just take him with us, and then, force him to drain his blood later, when we're not kind of in a horrible, shitty situation, and I have actual pants on?
That's actually not a bad idea.
That's not a bad idea. I agree.
So we tell No to let him live and just steal him, I guess?
Nah, we'll just ask. We'll tell him that our judgment is he lives for now.
So, Sheldon's going to look around. Who are we supposed to tell this to?
The big lady on the stage.
He turns around and looks up at No, and a flood. Go ahead and give me a perception check, please.
Oh, boy.
I'm looking for 17 and above.
21.
Nice.
That's my third nat one.
Wow.
11.
Wow.
What is happening?
Okay, Balrog. You notice all of a sudden as he turns around and looks at No, and No makes eye contact with Sheldon. It's as if there's 1,000 pictures fluttering over his irises. Just pictures of all sorts of things. And it lasts for about 20 seconds. Now, the two of you who don't see the pictures in his eyes, notice that he kind of goes blank there for a second. Anything you want to do?
Oh, are you talking to Steve?
I'm talking to all three of you.
Okay. So we just see his face go blank. We don't.
You just see him kind of go blank with expression, and his body's not moving.
I'd like to snap my fingers in front of his face. We're like, Sheldon, they still with us. Right here, bud.
Yeah, you're snapping your fingers. He's not responding. Yeah. But you do notice now that as you move around to the front and you're looking at his face, that there's just thousands of pictures basically fluttering in front of his eyes.
Can I see the pictures?
They're backwards for you. If you gave me a perception check above 18, I'll give you one.
Okay.
Can I do that as well?
Yep.
21.
Okay.
Nope. Fail.
Okay. What you see in a split second, and it really rings out to you, is you see the picture as if a moment in time of Sheldon, what used to be on the back of Mr. Girth with his dagger in his back. Instead, it begins to morph into Sheldon just standing on the table and his dagger out towards Mr. Girth. So that moment in time, you see really quickly, it changes.
Okay. Steve feels like he has a pretty good idea of what's happening here. So I want to go up and try to cover Sheldon's eyes.
Yeah, you play peekaboo with him. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You come up behind him, you put your hands over his eyes, and you immediately feel him come out of it, and his body shakes.
Oh.
And he goes, "Oh boy, that was a rush. Oh buddy, I think I need to lay down. Hey, what? Why am I here?"
We got to start this over again. Mrs. No, may I speak with you for a moment?
Sheldon goes, "I'll just mess with you. Don't you worry. We need to talk to that bitch." And he points his finger up to No, and tell her what's going on.
Well, I will attempt to do that. Thank you, Sheldon.
Sheldon's got a demeanor where he's pissed off. He realized his brain was getting messed with, but he also realizes the situation that he is in. He's been drained. He doesn't have much power. And so because of that, he's just pissed off.
Right.
Go ahead.
So I would like to address Miss Snow.
Okay.
Mrs. Snow, thank you graciously for allowing us this great honor to judge this man's fate. Me and my comrades here, we believe it would be best to make him pay for his judgment by allowing him to heal his people and do right by his people first. If he can save some lives, then I would hate to see him waste his life now. Is this a fair statement?
Is your wish to let this man walk away with you? In which
Yes.
it is. Please know that from the time that he leaves now, up until the time that he dies, any deaths in his land be from this disease will be written on your own minds. It is up to you to serve him justice. But if you do not take his life, all of those who die by his blood and not receiving it will be on your souls. Do you take this man in your own to be yours and to do with what you want, knowing that all these deaths could be on your soul?
Bruce
Hey,
turns
DM.
back to the rest of the team.
Yeah. I was gonna.
So I'm not going to make this for everyone.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? I mean, that's a pretty heavy price.
Yeah, Bruce. I don't know if I want something like that on my conscience.
Sheldon kind of pops in and he goes, "Well, I mean, what's the chance of someone dying in, say, like an hour, right? We can just take him back and we can bleed him dry like a stuck pig. Take all of his blood and then we can go find out wherever. Maybe he's got friends. We can go to his home world."
I mean,
we
here's
don't
the
even
thing,
we
if
don't
we-
even know where this guy's from. We have to get back to his home world.
So if we
Did you guys see this guy come in with anybody?
Well, yeah, that attractive babe over there that blew me off earlier, but you know, I don't hold a grudge or anything.
Wait a minute, you said attractive babe?
Yeah,
Point her out. And he's looking throughout the crowd.
and I pointed out to the elf, the tall elf standing by the bar.
So give me a perception check. Are three of you looking for this person since you all know this information?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm looking for a 16 to spot her in the crowd.
Well,
18.
I hope you guys. Okay, thank you.
I didn't hear
got
the
a
numbers.
nine.
Tell me again. Tell me
I
again.
got-
I didn't hear the numbers.
18.
Okay.
9.
Okay.
18.
Okay. Double 18s.
Yeah.
So Steve and Balrog, you both point for Sheldon over near the stairwell, kind of towards the beginning area. What you notice with 18s is, unlike everyone else who is blankly staring at, she is not. She is curling her own hair with her fingers just so slightly, and she's bored, and she's looking at some papers and drinking the drink. So you're telling me that guy right there came in with that woman?
Well, I'm sure it's all about money, but yeah, definitely.
What? I'm kind of confused here. Why is she not like everybody else? I see everybody just blank face, but what's with her? She, oh man, she is pretty.
Yeah, I know. I thought so too. Right? I went up to her and talked, and she was not having the Brucey game going on tonight. If you know what I mean.
I mean, it is a Brucey game after all. You know, I kind of question your game. That's besides the point.
Listen here, you little man.
I might be little, but I'm packing a lot of love.
Sheldon, perhaps we should not let blood flow to Wronghead here. We need to figure out situation before anything else happens.
Well, I mean, yeah, we can kill the dude. I mean, shit, we can just toss him in there, call it a day. But it sounds like a bunch of people are gonna die regardless, right? If we want to save the people, we gotta take him out of here. Maybe talk to her, figure out what's going on. But No looks pretty pissed. She's gonna need an answer. What do you guys think of just getting him out of here? Talk to the woman, see where we need to go, then kill him and take all his blood.
All right, sounds good to me. Guys, let's wrap it up here and let's get going.
All right, Miss No, yes, we accept those terms. We will be responsible for his life, and we promise he will pay for his sins.
She looks down at you 4 now, very curious, and almost regretting that she gave you Sheldon. Looking down at him and almost scowling at him, but then looking at the 3 of you, and her scowl immediately turns to a smile. She says, "So be it. I will give him to your custody. The souls after this point, destroyed by his greed, will be on your souls. May Paylor have mercy on all of you." And she snaps her fingers and looks to the guards and says, "Prepare him to be transferred, please. And for the 3, if 4, if you would like, please come up to VIP and have a quick chat. I have some questions."
All right.
Let's do it.
We really should be going, though.
We got to
We
talk
gotta get
to...
his bag.
It isn't negotiable
Nope.
since you let him live.
Right, that's what I was thinking. All right.
All right, so we make our way up to the VIP room. All right, mate. What a ride. You like cliffhangers? You masochist. Well, anyway, while you're here, why don't you help me out, little Brucey? The best way to help us grow is to tell your friends. We don't do any kind of marketing, right? So telling your mates the best way to spread the words of me, Bruce Rawby. I'm down here at the pub hanging out with my mates and the dwarven strippers. But what I need you to do is go check us out on social media. We're Shaving Arcana on everything. On the Instagram, on the Twitter. There you can find us when we go live on Twitch. What are you waiting for? Go listen to the next episode.